All right, this picture that you're looking at here is a picture of a typical neuron. So this is one nervous system cell, and that is called a neuron. If you think back to the video we just did, ask yourself, what kind of neuron are we looking at? Are we looking at bipolar, unipolar, or multipolar? Well, if I go back to this picture, or the three pictures, this looks like a multipolar neuron. So if you compare, we have a lot of dendrites bringing information in to the cell body. We have one long axon coming out of the cell body that's going to send the information somewhere else. Send that information to a muscle or a gland or another neuron. So we're going to start with this central structure here in the middle. And that is called your cell body. So this whole part right here in the center, and we'll draw a dotted line around it so you can understand what the cell body is this part in the middle. Some of my kids last year said it kind of looks like an egg. But this part in the middle is the cell body. Inside of that cell body, it is a cell. It's just like any other cell. It's got to have a nucleus, it's got to have a nucleolus, it's got to have organelles. And so inside of that, we will have a nucleus. And remember that central, or that cluster inside of the nucleus is called the nucleolus. Okay, so dot in the middle, the big dot, is the nucleus. Inside of that nucleus is the nucleolus. Okay, information is going to come into the cell body through all of these little projections. And your stem, dendro, means tree. And this kind of looks like tree branches bringing an impulse into the cell body. And those tree branches are called dendrites. And we drew those on the other sheet. And they're going to receive a message from another cell. So there might be another cell sitting over here. They're going to receive a message and send it to the cell body. So those dendrites are going to get their own color. I'm just going to outline one of them to save time. But they're all the same. Okay. Those are all dendrites. Dendrites are going to receive a message. They're going to send it through the cell body, and then the information is going to go all the way down this long axon. Okay, where the cell body reaches the axon, there's this little narrowing part right here, like the neck of the cell body, and that's called the axonal hillock. It's this long line here. So the axonal hillock, and that's just basically where the cell body attaches to the axon. Okay, and the axon is going to go all the way through these little beads. So it's like these, we're going to call them beads for right now, but it's like they're threaded onto the axon, like so. And the axon is going to pass a message from the cell body all the way down to another neuron. Or there might be a muscle right here. Or there might be a gland right here. And all that, these neurons are going to cluster together and make the nervous tissue, make that brain, make that spinal cord, make those nerves, and then tell gland what to do. the little beads that are threaded onto the axons are called Schwann cells. So one bead is called a Schwann cell. And I'm going to write bead underneath so you remember. I guess I could color it, couldn't I? So one bead is a Schwann cell. And those Schwann cells, go back to the first page of notes that we did, are going to make myelin sheath. And the myelin sheath is just a fatty protective covering around that axon. The space in between Schwann cells is going to be called a node of Ranvier. R-A-N-V-I-E-R. Looks like Ranvier, but it's the actual space between Schwann cells. And then once we reach the end of the axon, we're going to split the axon into terminal branches. And then when we reach the very, very end, you can kind of see on your picture that there are dots. And those dots are called axon terminals. Okay, so our information comes in from into the dendrites. There's the dendrites. It's going to send the information, the impulse down to the cell body. Then it's going to travel down the axon all the way through until it reaches the end, which is the axon terminals. And those axon terminals can then connect to a muscle or gland or another neuron. And that's how nervous tissue talks to a muscle. Tell a muscle, hey, let's get ready to contract. If you remember from the muscle unit, when we did the neuromuscular junction and we had the motor neuron traveling to the muscle fiber, that was one of these neurons. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. When we reach the axon terminals, then we're reaching the area where those neurotransmitters got dumped into the synaptic cleft. The acetylcholine binds to the receptors. That's what I'm talking about. This could be a motor neuron that's talking to a skeletal muscle right here saying we need to contract. Okay, so try to put unit with unit, a muscle unit with the nervous system. This is kind of where we are. So this arrow here is the impulse direction. So the impulse travels in this direction, not in this direction. So we're going down the axon. Alright, I think that's about it for this video. Tomorrow we will continue on. You'll have a practice sheet on neurons. So go home, look at this worksheet, try to get a good idea of what you're looking at. Also, your test on this is Tuesday. So we're not spending a lot of time on the nervous system. So this week's going to fly by and then you have a test. So make sure you're looking at your stuff on a nightly basis. The test is not going to be hard. It's not going to be a whole lot of detail. So just take it for what it is. Take it for exactly what I just taught you. You'll see this picture again, memorize it, and do it. Okay, don't try to analyze it too much. Just take it for what I've done. And but start looking at it now so that next Monday night when you're thinking, yay, we're on Thanksgiving break. No, you're not. You still have a test on Tuesday. So try to finish out strong. And if you have questions, email me. Come back to the video if you didn't get something in class. They're always there. Go to YouTube, type Miss Craig Anatomy, and it'll pull it up.